Triad hip hop. What's going on, y'all? All right, so let's talk some hip hop. Let's see here. Okay, so yesterday, as most of y'all know, I went to Comic-Con and had a ball, had a blast, and basically, I wanted to just recap because I didn't really get to talk about hip hop as much. Just enjoying myself at Comic-Con yesterday. So, as y'all saw, what's up, Dom? Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. As you can see, it's just me right now. So, Howie's not here. So, we're just going to do a little episode 29 and a half, just to talk a little hip hop or whatever. So, let's see. Let's do this. Yes, sir. Thank you for tuning in to watch me and check me out. Me and Howie will be back doing our thing next week together. So right now we're gonna just talk a little hip hop. As most of y'all know, we lost a rapper who was a big part of the 90s and on into the early 2000s. So. And that would be my man Craig Mack, rest in peace. He contributed a lot into this game, you know, just by good music and just, you know, not being afraid to be himself, you know what I mean? So I really like that about him. So if you have anything to contribute on Craig Mack, please let us know. You know, for me, my favorite song by Craig Mack would have been Flava in Your Ear, but I actually like the original better than the remix, you know what I mean, because I really like what he was doing there, you know what I mean. He was really just shining by himself. It wasn't just, you know, you could see him and a bunch of other people. He was shining by himself and let you really know what kind of skills he brought to the table. So I liked a lot of his wordplay, and you know, I liked just what he brought to the table. You know, he had his own swag, you know what I mean, and he wasn't like the greatest rapper alive or anything like that, but he was definitely, you know, someone who deserved respect in this game. And for him to only be in his mid-40s and lost his life, you know what I mean, it's really a sad thing, man, when you know that somebody could have lived another 40 or 50 years, you know what I mean? It's really sad to see someone go at such a young age. So for me, I really, you know, I just been blasting a lot of his music, you know what I mean? Yeah, Flava in Your Ear definitely stands out. You know, that's one of his most memorable tracks, but he had, you know, quite a few, you know what I mean? He had quite a few. So, you know, there's been a little bit going on in the hip-hop game this week. We got, you know, Game rapper. The Game is beefing with this little dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine. If you even know who that is, he's one of the younger rappers who is supposed to be gang affiliated. You know, the little light pale dude with all the colors in his hair, and you know what I mean? Yeah, that guy. So he definitely cherished life, man. You're right about that. So, but you know, Tekashi 6ix9ine and the Game have been kind of going back and forth, and basically, I don't know how it started, but I think the Game pretty much said something about him at a concert. You know, just I don't know if that's where it started, but basically, you know, some people, you know, who are like Game, who are affiliated with the Bloods. This dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine, is supposedly affiliated with the Bloods or whatever, and Game doesn't even care about that. It's just he feels like the dude is a fake Blood, that he's just using the name to make himself sound tough and things like that. So they've been going at it a little bit, and they've had a few choice words for each other. So Game mostly is the one, I think, talking the most, you know, stuff about him. The dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine, is basically like, y'all can be mad at me all you want, but y'all making a name for yourself from your father. I made my name by myself, blah, blah, blah. And, he had that to say because Jay Prince Jr. said something about him too. You know what I mean? Dude, Jay Prince Jr. is someone who's supposed to be affiliated with the Bloods as well, and he's the son of the famous Jay Prince. So basically, exactly, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? You're right. It's not worth it, but people continue to let this little pattern of, this is what the people before me did, so this is what I got to do. You know what I mean? And you following the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It don't matter if they did something before you. What matters is what you do for yourself. You know what I mean? You can't just say, well, my dad was a Blood, I'm going to be a Blood, or my friends are gang members, I'm going to be a gang member. You got to do your own thing, man. You being a follower ain't going to never get you nowhere, but following somebody else. So, that's the latest little beef that's going on in the hip-hop game. So, I don't see much coming of it. I think it's a waste of time, to tell you the truth. And to me, you know what I mean, if I was the game, I wouldn't even waste time on this guy. You know what I mean? He's one of those new rappers who is really just sad. Matter of fact, if you look in the Triad Hip Hop podcast, that was him I posted a video of, where he was trying to take a test, and he was having trouble with the test. Look for him on there. You'll see it. It's a funny little video. So, but yeah, so basically, that's what's going on. He's supposed to be a Blood and gang Blood, and other people who are Bloods don't really care for him because they say since he's gang related, whenever he goes on tour and goes to certain cities, he should holler at the Bloods that are in that city and let them know, I'm here, I'm representing for y'all, blah, 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 and he ain't doing that. So they feel like he's a fake Blood, and, that's the kind of thing that they're mad at him about, and I really don't care about all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing with 50, man. He's the same thing. It's they all just feel like the beef is what keeps the music going. You know what I mean? And it don't have to be like that. Beef does not keep music going. Good music keeps good music going. So that's what we need, good music. We don't need all that beef and whatnot. And, another thing that's going on in hip-hop, I don't know if any of you heard, Lloyd Banks kind of halfway said that he was retiring from rap. Lloyd Banks from G Unit. So he basically went on Twitter and put up a post that, he was happy that he had gotten a lot of inspiration from the rappers who came before him, but that basically it was time for him to hang it up. And he appreciated everything up until this point. He just kind of said it in roundabout words like that he basically was retiring. So everybody was like, oh man, he's going to retire. What do we do? And basically, I don't think he's doing it because shortly thereafter, he released a video. He put up like a meme on his Twitter page of Ric Flair. And the video was of Ric Flair acting like he was about to retire, saying, yeah, it's been a while and I'm going to have to go ahead and say it. I'm never retiring. Whoa! And so that's what he did. He posted a video of Ric Flair doing that just to let y'all know, okay, I'm not really retiring. You know what I mean? I'll never do that. So I think he was doing it on purpose. I think he learned one of 50's little tactics of, let me throw something out there, see if people will catch the bait. And that's what they did. And a lot of the media outlets went crazy and was like, oh man, Lloyd Banks is retiring. What are we going to do? And he was a big part of G Unit. And so he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that's been going on in hip-hop. But back to, this weekend. Yesterday I went to Comic-Con down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it was really nice. Had a ball, took my wife with me and got to see a lot of nice costumes and things like that, and somebody even got married there, did a Comic-Con wedding. I thought that was kind of cool, but it wound up being a little corny, because it was like they didn't really execute it good. it's one of those things. If you're gonna do it, you gotta really do it. It was almost like they did it at the last minute. So it was like, you kind of felt like they just took a bunch of people and was like, hey, we need to do a wedding. Can you be in my wedding? You too. You be in my wedding? You. And so everybody was just uncoordinated. The wedding started late. But overall, it was a cool concept, you know what I mean? They had some of the people dressed up in Black Panther outfits. Not the Black Panther, like the women. One of the women had on a Black Panther outfit from the women's group from Wakanda, and then two people had on what looked like prom dresses. I don't know what that was all about. And, it was just a bunch of, different out of sorts, out of sync costumes. So it's like, for me, if I'm going to, go and do something like that at Comic-Con, it's going to be coordinated, it's going to be organized, everybody's going to have the same stuff on. So if I'm doing a Black Panther wedding, it's going to be all Black Panther. It ain't going to be, he got this on, but she got that on, and she got Disney, and she got this. And, nah, that's the only thing that really messed it up, you know what I mean? So, and then it was, like I said, it was late. It was supposed to be at 1 o'clock. They didn't get started till almost 1:15. And, it was cool, but it was just like, ah. But anyway, the main highlights of Comic-Con was, they had a bunch of comic book makers, famous comic book makers that was there. And one of them was the guy, Kevin Eastman, who created the Ninja Turtles, and he was there signing autographs and making his little money selling his comic books. They had Orlando Jones, who is a comedian who got his start back in the 90s on Mad TV, which was kind of like a Saturday Night Live sketch comedy show. And now he's doing other stuff. He's doing shows like on Netflix and stuff like that. But he's a cool guy. He's real funny. And he was there just signing autographs, had his own booth set up. So I got to talk to him for a few minutes, me and my wife, and he was a nice guy, but, I couldn't really interview him because he was, they were trying to really charge a lot of money just to do an official interview. Even the autographs was like $30 or $40. So it was just like, okay, all right. So, we did the whole autograph. Not the autograph, taking a selfie with him. It was like $30 or $40. So we did that. I didn't do the autograph thing because I'm like, I don't need the signature. I'm good on that. But so he was there, and he's a really nice guy. We talked to him for a few minutes, but I didn't want to bug him about trying to get on film and let me go live and all that, because I know he was going to charge a buttload of money for that. But I did get a selfie with him, as y'all saw on the Triad Hip Hop page. And then Buster Douglas was there. He was famous boxer from back in the day. I don't think he's really doing anything right now. You can probably tell that from the picture that I took with him. But basically, he was there doing the same thing, signing autographs and just trying to, put himself out there. And he was a nice guy. You know what I mean? He didn't charge me any money for the picture I took with him. He was just about to leave from his booth and go to another room that they had set up for him to do one-on-one pictures with fans and stuff like that. And but I just happened to catch him as he was leaving his booth and shook his hand and was like, "Do you mind if I take a quick picture with you?" And he was cool with it, so I did it, and that was cool. You know what I mean? And he was a nice guy. You can tell he was a little, out of shape, had a little stomach and all that good stuff. But he got his main reputation for being one of the first people to really beat Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? So Mike wasn't the easiest guy to beat. I don't think there's been too many people that have beat him. And Buster Douglas was, I think, maybe the first guy that actually knocked him down. And so, there's a really, really good story behind that too, because basically right before the fight, he dedicated that fight. Buster Douglas dedicated that fight to his mother because he really just wanted to prove to her, look what I've done. Yeah, Mad TV was good. But he just wanted to prove to her, look what I can do. You know, I made it all the way up to the top where I'm fighting the champion, Mike Tyson. I'm going at him for the belt, and I just want to do this for you. You know, so he had a lot of good reason, you know, to fight. You know what I mean? But then what happened was right before the fight, his mother dies. And so that really just tore him down. His mother passed away right before the fight. And so while he was fighting Mike Tyson was actually winning. You know, he was getting the best of him. Boom, boom, boom. Mike Tyson actually knocks him down. But you can just tell that while he was knocked down, I think his mother's voice was kind of echoing in him. You know what I mean? I think that's what happened. He finally got up and said, you know what? No, I can't just lose this fight. I promised my mother. And next thing you know, he got back up, and then he just started wailing on Mike. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I think Mike was even surprised, like, wait a minute, dudes don't be getting up after I knock them down. You know what I mean? So he wound up getting back up. That's one thing. Then two, he wound up pounding on Mike. You know what I mean? To the point where Mike got knocked out. He wasn't like out cold, of course, but he got knocked down pretty bad. So Buster Douglas wound up taking the heavyweight championship away from Mike Tyson back in the day. That was I think back in the late 90s, I believe. But basically what messed him up was right after that, after he won the belt, became the champ, Evander Holyfield, who was real big in boxing at the time, was like, okay, now I want a piece of you. You know what I mean? Because Evander Holyfield had been trying to fight Mike Tyson for the longest time. And they just couldn't get the fight to go down. So after Buster Douglas won the belt, Evander was like, all right, well, then, since I couldn't get Mike, I'm coming for you. And I don't even think it was a full year later. You know what I mean? It was less than a year later he fought Evander Holyfield, and he lost. He got knocked down. And a lot of people can tell that what happened was that thing about his mother wasn't there anymore. You know what I mean? He had a lot more fight in him when he was fighting for his mother. You know what I mean? And so when he had to fight with Evander, the only thing he was thinking about was that paycheck, because they had promised him, if you fight Evander, you can get a whole bunch of money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, whether you win or lose. And so when he fought Evander, it was like he didn't have that fight in him, you know what I mean? So he wound up losing his first fight after winning the belt. So he was a good dude, but, you know, he didn't have that fighting spirit, you know what I mean? That whole Holyfield-Tyson ear-biting thing, that came a few years later. I think 2 or 3 years later, I want to say. I can't remember exactly, but, you know, Evander Holyfield still wanted to fight Mike Tyson, so he finally got his chance. I think they fought twice, actually. He had to fight with him where he bit his ear because Mike was getting mad. I think Mike was finally getting frustrated because he couldn't really knock Holyfield out. So he was just like, you know, dudes normally don't last this long, you know, and I think he was just getting frustrated, so he just bit his ear. And then after that, I think they had another rematch, and they got a chance to do it all over again. So yeah, that was I believe the early 2000s. I can't remember, but anyway, so that's what Buster Douglas came from. That's mainly his story. And so he's definitely not boxing anymore. He's pretty much retired, but it was cool to see him and meet him. He was a nice guy. It was good that I got a picture of him. So definitely check that out on the Triad Hip Hop Podcast webpage on Facebook. And if you see, check out the video I posted of the dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine, because it really just shows, you know, what kind of person he is and how smart he really is. So anyways, you know, that's pretty much what's been going on in hip-hop. Next week, hopefully we'll be back live together, me and Howie, so we can really just touch on some stuff. I want to, just say, rest in peace to Craig Mack. He'll definitely be missed in hip hop. I really wanted to see him do more, but he had a whole spiritual journey that he went through, because he had went and started doing kind of like Mace, where he was getting into church, and basically I think he wanted to turn his life around, and instead of just rapping for money, he wanted to kind of be more of a godly person. So definitely, that's a nice thing that he did. But he'll definitely be missed. And as far as Lloyd Banks, man, like I said, he ain't going nowhere. That dude, he hasn't really solidified himself in hip hop, as far as I'm concerned. He's gotten some notches under his belt, but I don't think he's solidified enough to say you're ready for retirement. You know what I mean? So I think he needs to really, if he wants to really make a name for himself and keep himself out there, I think he needs to step out from under 50 and really just explore his own thing instead of just being G-Unit all the time. All you're known for, in my opinion, is just being part of G-Unit. That's not good enough, you know what I mean? So I think when you think about somebody like 50, he's 50 Cent even without G-Unit, you know what I mean? But when you think about Lloyd Banks, you think G-Unit, the guy from G-Unit, So, definitely, he's not out, he's not down, and he's not out. So he's going to keep doing his thing, and hopefully we'll hear some more music from him. As far as, the Comic-Con, it was really dope. I'm glad I got to do it. Yeah, exactly. Jay said the same thing, trying to, say he was going to retire. And I thought he was BSing when he first said it. But I really, I wasn't as big of a Jay-Z fan when he first said he was retiring. Because at that time, he hadn't grown on me as much. He was way too cocky and arrogant, and I really wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't until a few years later that I really started saying, okay, I see some growth in Jay-Z. He's getting more mature. He's really a good rapper. I couldn't front on it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so Lloyd Banks ain't going nowhere. I think if they was really smart, they would have let the game be part of that G-Unit reunion that they did, where they got Young Buck in it. You know what I mean? They should have let the game be part of that too. But, 50 was still holding a grudge and didn't want to do it. So I think the G-Unit reunion was alright, but it wasn't good enough for me. It wasn't good enough for me to even want to pay attention. I heard a couple of songs and I was like, it's still not the same. So that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. So, but as far as hip hop goes, man, that's pretty much it for this week. I just wanted to, 50, yeah, you're right. 50 definitely needs to grow up. I think that's, 50 Cent is smart. You know what I mean? He's a lot like Jay-Z as far as making money. He knows how to make money, but I don't think 50 still has as much respect in the streets as he does as far as financially. People know him for making money because he was smart enough to say, okay, I'm going to invest in this over here. That's not hip-hop. I'm going to invest in this show. I'm going to create that. And he's making his money. But as far as hip-hop is concerned, I'm not really a 50 Cent fan like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't have a lot of respect for him. He's definitely a good rapper. He's good, but he's just not my type of guy that I'm willing to go out and spend my money on. So, I got a lot of respect for the rappers who try to not only be good rappers, but try to put a message out there. You know what I mean? Your Nas, your Common, you know what I mean? So people like that who actually got a brain that can back up, their skills, and that you're not just good in one dimension. You know what I mean? You have a little variety to you. So that's my thing. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for Triad Hip Hop. Hope to see you soon, my man Howie. He's out of town right now, so we'll see him when he gets back. And yeah, definitely want to give back to the community. So, Pac, Biggie, Jay, Nas, yeah. Yep, definitely, man. So I'm going to sign off for Triad Hip Hop Podcast. This is your man Curtis. My man Howie. Stay up. We can't wait to see you again. And we're going to do it again next week, next weekend. We're going to go live and give y'all some more hip hop news. All right? Peace.